I cuss too much. I already know. I cuss and swear way too much. But it's from being limited as a kid and my immaturity wanting to express itself all the way once I became an adult. And, I have that freedom of expression, so I want to use it to the max. And, and my parental system, my mom, she cusses a lot. And I've just been raised in a household of that, and to me, it's just an extension of language. It's not swear words, And, I remember recently someone commented on one of my YouTube videos saying I cuss too much, or I said I should cuss less, and I agree with them, although I didn't agree with them. Does that make sense? I didn't agree with them, but I agree with them, I don't feel like cussing is bad, but I've produced an imbalance in my language. I've cussed so much, it's an imbalance, and I realized that. Well, first I was like, well, I don't care. It's just my expression of myself, But then I realized if you cuss too much, it takes away from the quality of the video or of the message you're trying to point out. You should only cuss very sparingly. I remember watching this psychology video, something about when you're giving, or public speaking. It was a public speaking video, and it was saying it's okay to cuss sparingly. Maybe you'd want to do it at the end, and or just once or twice. And for me, I just pepper everything I say with it, But so here I'm challenging myself. Not much of a challenge, but it is a pretty big challenge because there's no one around. I don't need to have a filter, but I'm challenging myself to filter my language. Can you make a whole YouTube video without cussing? You cuss so much, it's part of your existence. Do you have the resistance and the discipline and the balance to make a whole YouTube video all off the top of my head? Pretty much all of them are. All freestyle without cussing? Of course I can, It is hard though. I feel like it's weird because I know not to cuss to children or around children. It's an instinct. It turns off. But there's no one around. So it's no filter. It's actually a challenge. It's weird. If there's kids, it's not a challenge. There's no one around. I can say whatever I want, so it's a challenge. So yes, I know that basically I'm believing I don't really believe this, but basically I'm there's only a certain amount of cuss words you can say in your whole life, and if you keep this up, you're gonna use them all up. Obviously I don't actually think that, but I tell myself stuff like that, so I'm balanced. There's only a certain amount of this someone can do their whole life, or or it'll consume them, or it'll destroy them, So, yeah, and cussing is so much part of my normal language. I literally don't know if I've cussed yet or not in this video. I believe that I so far I assume that I haven't, but I'm gonna have to watch the video back. But back to the point, I cuss too much, but because this is my philosophy on cussing. They're just words, just like any other words. It depends on how you use them. It depends on the emotion you put behind it. If you're cussing in a joking manner with your friends, of course it's fine. But if you're cussing in an argument towards someone to make them feel bad, that's you know what I mean? For example, you're joking around with your friends, shut up, telling them to shut up. You're just joking, shut up. But if you're shut up, it's oh damn, So I wouldn't consider shut up to be a cuss word, but you can use that and apply any cuss word to it. If you're cussing and you're just saying it a certain way, but it's whatever. But if you say it with that emotion and that intent and that force behind it, it's So that's my personal belief based on the philosophy that I subscribe to when it comes to cussing and swearing. Me personally, it's I don't care. It's just a further expression of myself. I'm just, you know what I mean? I know how to be nice and mean to people, you know what I mean? It's alright. But, however, I keep getting this idea in my mind. I keep seeing it other places about, cussing and cussing too much. Oh, man. I shouldn't be driving and making this YouTube video right now. but it's okay. Yeah, so basically, like, it's okay. Like, tailor your speech in the certain social situations. You know, I like that alliteration. You know, subject your speech to certain social situations when necessary. I just like all the S's. But yeah, and I feel like cussing is okay. It's just when you do it, where you do it. Me personally, I cuss so much that I know that I need to balance it. I need to bring it back a little bit because it's taking away from the genuine authenticity of my message. It's taking away from the focus on the message or the thing that I'm saying in the video. You know, say if like someone, I'm from America, but if a foreigner hears it, they're not really gonna like relate to it the same way. Their slang and cussing is different. And plus, some people don't view cussing from the same perspective of philosophy that I do. So they'll think that I'm a lower class human, or I don't care if they think that, but they'll stop listening to the message because of that. They'll think that the message doesn't have as much value because the demeanor of the human or of the person isn't balanced. Does that make sense? Like, oh, well, this guy's cussing up a storm. There's no way he knows right from wrong, you know? Because they see other balanced, older people, they're not cussing and they're composed and they talk slow and they're concise and they're very direct and they're not all over the place and they're not swearing and they're mature. You know, like, I definitely understand that. So as I get closer to age 30, I'm realizing, like, I do have to conduct myself differently now. You know, but it's okay. I'ma still cuss because I don't give a fuck.